My family burst into loud, ugly laughter the moment Dad pointed at me and said, "Genesis only takes up space." It felt like someone ripped the floor out from under me. My aunt shook her head and whispered, "She's just a burden." And my brother laughed so hard, he slapped the table like this was some comedy show. They didn't even try to hide how little I mattered to them. Before I go deeper, hit like, share, and subscribe, because what happened next turned everything upside down. And trust me, you'll want to see how this story explodes. I stood there holding a flimsy paper plate, the only thing they ever gave me without a complaint. They spoke around me, over me, through me, talking like I wasn't a human, like I wasn't even in the room. Every word stabbed deeper. She's wasting her life. She never contributes. She's just extra weight. They had no idea that while they mocked me for being useless, I had been quietly building something they couldn't even imagine. What they didn't know was that every long night, every silent effort, every job they laughed at I used, all of it to build a future they never bothered to ask about. They saw me as weak because I didn't fight back. They mistook my silence for failure. They thought I'd always stay small. That night, as Dad called me dead weight again, and the whole table erupted in laughter, something inside me broke, but not in the way they expected. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I didn't beg them to see my worth. I simply looked around at their smug, satisfied faces and felt a strange calm settle inside me. I picked up my bag from the floor. No shaking hands, no tears. Just a quiet decision that felt louder than anything I'd ever done. Without saying a single word, I walked out of that house, the house where I was never seen, and shut the door behind me. They believed I had nowhere to go. They believed I'd be back within hours. Genesis wasn't running away. Genesis was already holding a plane. Ticket 3,000 miles away toward a life none of them were ready to face. The airport lights hit my face as I stepped inside. Still, hearing my family's laughter echoing in the back of my mind. For the first time in my life, the sound didn't break me. It pushed me. I checked my bag, grabbed my ticket, and felt something strange. Freedom. Real, dangerous freedom. And the best part, my family had no idea that the girl they mocked for taking up space had spent the last year preparing for this moment. In complete silence, I slipped into my seat on the flight, pulled out my old laptop, and opened the folder they never knew existed. The one filled with designs, plans, proposals, and contracts. Every night they thought I was wasting time. I had been building my future line by line, idea by idea. I wasn't leaving home because I was weak. I was leaving because I was finally strong enough to grow without them crushing me. When the plane took off, my phone buzzed. 15 missed calls. My mom, my brother, my dad, all probably expecting me to crawl back, begging for forgiveness. As if I'd ever walked back into a place where I was treated like dust on a chair. I turned the phone face down and let the clouds swallow everything behind me. Hours later, when I landed in Seattle, the cold air hit me like a promise. I walked out of the terminal and saw the small building I had only seen in photos. Shared office space I had secretly rented 3 months ago under my own business name. I had used every saved dollar, every paid commission, every silent grind to set this up. Inside, a single desk lamp glowed in the corner, waiting for me like it knew this moment was coming. I ran my hand along the empty desk, letting the weight of the new beginning settle in. Then something unexpected happened. My phone lit up again, but this time it wasn't my family. It was an email. A contract. A number so big it made my breath hitch, the kind of offer that could change my entire life in seconds. And I whispered to myself, this is the table I built. and they're about to find out exactly who I became. I stared at the email, my heart thudding so loud it echoed in the empty office. The sender was a company that once ignored my applications. The same company Dad mocked me for dreaming about. Now they were offering me a partnership, not a job. They wanted my designs, my ideas, my creativity. The work I created in silence, or my family said I was doing nothing. I opened the file attached to the email, and as the numbers filled the screen, I felt the ground shift beneath my feet. It wasn't just big, it was life-changing. Enough money to restart everything. Enough to make every insult, every laugh, every moment of humiliation look tiny compared to the storm that was coming. I sat down in the chair, letting the reality sink in. For years they called me useless. But here I was, in a city 3,000 miles away, with a contract that could make me wealthier than every person who ever told me I took up space. The contrast was so sharp it almost hurt just when I leaned back to catch my breath. My phone rang again, this time a video call request from my brother. I didn't answer, but as the screen kept lighting up again and again, my curiosity grew. Finally, I picked up, not saying a word, just watching. He looked panicked, eyes wide, breathing heavy. "Genesis, can you come home?" he asked, voice trembling in a way I'd never heard before. I didn't respond, letting the silence stretch. He swallowed and continued. "Mom is crying. Dad's furious. They didn't know you'd actually leave." There it was. Not concern, not love, panic. Because for the first time, they realized the person they crushed for years was no longer within reach. I finally spoke, calm and steady. Did they think I'd stay forever, just to be their punching bag? He froze, unsure how to answer. Before he could speak again, a door slammed behind him, and my dad's voice boomed in the background. "Tell her to come back. She's nothing without us." My brother flinched. My jaw clenched. There it was. The truth they always tried to hide behind fake concern. I let out a soft laugh. The kind that wasn't funny at all. "Dad thinks I'm nothing without you," I whispered. "Funny. Because in about an hour, the world will see exactly who I am without you." My brother blinked. What do you mean?" I turned my laptop toward the camera, showing him the signed contract on the screen. The giant number glowed so bright, it lit up the room. His face drained of color instantly. "Is that real?" he whispered. "It's mine," I said. "All mine. Built in silence. Built while you all mocked me." He didn't even blink as the call ended, like he'd turned to stone. But I wasn't done, because the biggest twist, the one that would shake my entire family, hadn't even been revealed yet. Genesis stood in the middle of that broken street, like the past was trying to pull him backward, while the future held his hand, begging him to step forward. The cold wind moved through the dying trees, brushing his face like a last warning. "Are you sure you want to end this?" He was sure. So sure it almost felt peaceful. The house in front of him looked smaller, now almost scared. The cracked windows, the rusted doorknob, the porch that sagged under its own weight. This was the place where he learned to stay quiet. The place where he learned pain had no limit. The place where he learned he was alone. But today, it was the place where he'd end everything. He stepped onto the porch, the wood creaking like it recognized him. He knocked once. His mother opened the door, eyes wide, lips trembling like she wasn't sure if this was a blessing or a curse. "Genesis, you came back," she whispered. Genesis didn't step inside. "No, I came to finish this." His father appeared behind her, eyes darting to the SUV parked behind Genesis Black. Polished, powerful. The neighborhood had already gathered like they were watching a live movie. Kids on bikes. Old women pretending to sweep their porches. Fathers drinking tea while pretending not to stare. His father tried to smile, his voice fake gentle. "Son, things have been difficult. Your mother's been sick. The bills." Genesis shut him down with one cold sentence. "When I was sick, you left me alone in this house to fend for myself." His father swallowed hard. His sister stepped out next, hesitating. She looked at Genesis like she finally understood he wasn't someone she could bully anymore. "Genesis, we didn't know what you were going through." He raised an eyebrow. "You didn't care enough to ask." Silence tore through the air. The neighbors leaned in. Genesis reached into his coat and pulled out the thick envelope, the one that held the real ending to their story. He handed it to his father, who opened it slowly, praying it was money. It wasn't money. It was the final eviction notice. His father's breath caught. "You bought the debt? All of it?" Genesis nodded. "Months ago." His mother grabbed the paper with shaking hands, scanning every word, every signature. Her eyes filled with tears, not the gentle kind, but the ones that burn because truth finally hit bone. "Genesis, please. This house, it's all we have. You took everything I had," Genesis said softly. "My childhood, my safety, my joy. Now life takes something from you." His father's shoulders collapsed. His sister sank onto the porch, crying into her hands. Genesis stepped back and looked at them one by one. Not with hate, not with anger, but with the cold clarity of someone who no longer needed their approval. "This house raised a version of me you tried to destroy," he said. "But I became someone stronger. Not because of you, because I survived you." His mother sobbed. Harder. "We were wrong. We were cruel. We should have loved you." "You should have," Genesis agreed. "But you didn't." The wind blew through the street. The SUV behind him hummed softly, waiting like a gateway he had earned. His father whispered, voice barely holding itself together, "Please, son, don't let us lose our home." Genesis took one long, deep breath, letting the past rise and fall for the last time. "I'm not taking your home," he said. "I'm taking myself out of it." They looked confused for a moment. Until he said the truth that would haunt them forever. "I bought your debt so I could wipe it clean. It's paid. You don't owe anything. But after today, you no longer have a son." His mother gasped. His sister covered her mouth. His father looked like the ground had disappeared under him. Genesis continued, steady and calm. "You don't get the right to say you raised me. You don't get to call me. You don't get to find me. You don't get to apologize. Today I give you something better than forgiveness. I give you distance." He turned and walked down the porch steps. His mother cried out, "Genesis, please. Don't leave like this." He paused at the bottom step for a moment. The air held its breath. Then he said the sentence that sealed the ending forever. "You left me first." He walked to the SUV. The driver opened the door. Genesis didn't look back at once. He got inside, leaning back as the leather seats embraced the luxury he had carved from pain. The SUV pulled away slowly at first, then faster, leaving behind the street that once held him hostage. As the houses blurred into shadows, Genesis closed his eyes, not in regret, but in release. He whispered to himself, voice steady, proud, alive, "This is the end of my pain, and the beginning of my life." And for the first time ever, Genesis didn't just walk away, he rose.